Hello. I sound like shit still, but I actually sound better than I did a day ago. If you've been following on Instagram, you'll know that it's been an interesting week. But we are here with Chicago Pen Show content, and we're just going to do this until I start coughing a lot, and then I guess we're going to be done with this for the day. But I haven't been able to look at any of the stuff that I got, so I want to do that. So we are going to start with all the sort of like freebies that I got at the show. So to start with, I got a copy of Pen World, which is a magazine that I love to look at online, but is quite expensive to get shipped to Canada, so I don't get it. I do wish I got it because it does look like a super cool magazine. So I'm quite excited to look through it. I flipped through it a little bit at the show, and then I got quite sick and I haven't looked through it since. So I'm excited to spend some more time going through it and actually like taking the time to go through it properly, because even like the cover is stunning, and it's just lovely. And then there were a whole bunch of other freebies that I picked up. So I got a Stationery Universe pin quite early on, actually, and they were gone by, I want to say they were gone by this Saturday. I got mine Friday and they were gone Saturday. And then I collected quite a quantity of these Atlas stickers, and as we go through this folder, we're going to see just how many Atlas stickers I collected this weekend, because I sort of just kept getting handed them, or like so friends would hand me them, or like I'd make a purchase at Atlas and get handed one and forget that I already had some back at the room. And so I now have quite the quantity of Atlas stickers. Here's my pouch of stickers and business cards and pins. So Kari Bullet Journal got me this. She also gave me a whole bunch of her postcards, which we'll look at in a minute, and chocolate and tea. I got the Lemur ink button, and I think I got every variation of their sticker that they had at the table. I got the Opus sticker. I got the Rickshaw stickers, which came with the special edition Rickshaw pen sleeve from the show. Here it is. Here's the Chicago Pen Show pen sleeve. This was not an item you could purchase at the show. You had to find Cheryl from Rickshaw on the show floor, and I don't think she had them every day. I got mine on, I think, the Friday. I got mine. And most of the weekend it was on my lanyard, and I didn't actually have a pen in it, which was quite funny. There's another Opus sticker. Good Made Better. I really like the Good Made Better stickers. They have a fun texture. And we have a whole bunch of business cards. Great people. Luxury ink pen. They just do vintage, and they took a look at the Schaefer snorkel and taught me how to fill it, and it was great. I think that was Friday. Another vintage pen restoration person, Michael Soul. I have something really cool from him in my bag. If you saw Quips for Sarcastics post, she already featured these business cards. I didn't spend as much time picking out my card as she did. I just grabbed one at random, but I absolutely love the one I grabbed. It's the ink bottle card. More stickers. Oh, there's another Rickshaw sticker and another Rickshaw sticker. So really, the palettes are going to get an upgrade. I have every one of the Smearty pen stickers. So I have the gold one, that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I have the holographic Quaco, Cheryl Ball's business card, Notageist. I don't know who you are. I'll have to figure that out. Somebody that just dealt with Parker 51s. Here's another atlas. Here's another atlas. Here's a different atlas. There's this Murti Pens business card. I love this atlas one. I don't know what palette I'm putting it on. Probably the next 31 Purple Fish palette, but it's great. There's a Navalura business card, an OMAS business card, Stationary Universe, the other Lemur ink sticker. Oh, it is Atlas. Atlas made these stickers, but I got mine from Pelikan. It's the Pelikan ink of the year, but as the bean. But Atlas wasn't handing these out. I got it from Pelikan's booth. So there's the sticker haul from the show. I thought I had more than 3 of these, honestly. They might be stashed away somewhere. I made a... Sorry about that. I made a stupid number of Atlas purchases at the show, and I will start by saying that. I had made several orders for pickup before the show. I have them all written down in my travelers, actually. I had made 4 pickup purchases for the show, mostly using affiliate credit. So 2 Sailor Mano inks, a Sailor Blue Black, Traveler's watercolor paper, and then 2 inks that were in last chance that I couldn't use affiliate credit on in 4 separate purchases. And then I made 3.5 more Atlas purchases at the show. I'm going to count one as half because Brendan ended up just giving me something. I didn't actually buy it. So let's go through this bag and see what I actually... Oh no, actually there's still more freebies. My laptop case is full of more stuff that I picked up at the show. So we have the auction list. So if you watched the auction live, I went through this, but I didn't actually end up making it to the auction. I really didn't feel well by Saturday night, and so I didn't end up going. Though the one item that I did really like, Claire ended up getting, and so I'm very happy it went to a good home. I got a copy of Nibbage, which I have to say I did not understand at the show, and I'm only now understanding now that people are posting about it. I just grabbed it off of a table. I didn't realize that, like, it's a thing and people get them signed and stuff. I know for next year. And then I have, what's in here? All the different other pen shows. So Detroit was advertising there. Triangle Pen Show was advertising, as was Miami. I don't know that I'll make it to any other than maybe Detroit. Detroit actually isn't that far from us. And so there's a chance that the Detroit Pen Show might happen. Very small chance, but it is a small possibility. And then we have my name written stunningly, which is going to end up framed somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I am going to end up framing it because it is absolutely spectacular, and I'm so jealous of the flourishes. It's just stunning. We also have Atlas's sidewalk sale postcard, and I believe I have another different Atlas postcard somewhere. And then we also have the booth show list. I don't actually, were there 6? I think there were 166 tables. or maybe, 167 tables. So there were 167 tables, if I'm reading this correctly. I did not get a copy of this until Saturday afternoon. By the time I got a copy of this, like, I was past needing a copy of it, but I am glad I have one, just for future reference. Yeah. Oh no, there were 176. So this doesn't actually include all the tables, because there were also tables like back over here. And of course, like, the vendors that I can't figure out the names are the ones that are cut off over here. So, all right. Yeah, I have no idea what they are, but they were tucked away in the back corner. And then we have all of Kari's lovely cards. So she did this Atlas one. I think she said the Monday before the show, and Atlas was actually giving these out. So this was the one I picked up, but then she also had, and it was bent, but then she also had a pristine copy for me. And her feather print, her Wonder Woman, her colored Wonder Woman, her notebook stack, her ink bottles, which might be my favorite one of them all. Actually, it is. Her fountain pen, and then the typewriter. So I am going to need to extend my wall of art in, I was going to say my room, but there's not really space. So I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to put these, because they're great and I love them. And they need to go up somewhere. So I have to figure out how I'm going to put them up. But for now, they're just going to slide back into this bag where they're nice and safe and no harm will come to them. And then we get to actually start opening stuff up and swatching, which is, the best part of these videos. So, those go in there, which gets to sit flat. All of this stuff gets to go back into this bag. I do have to say, I love the Atlas stickers. I think Annabelle was the one that was giving out these. Like, there were just some really great stickers. And I'd say I use stickers as like a way to remember brands. Like, when I see a sticker on a watercolor tin, I do often end up going back to that brand's website and like looking and seeing what they have new. So I do really like good stickers. So I'm going to mute this while I blow my nose, and then we will get into opening some other stuff up. All right, now for the more fun stuff of the Chicago Pen Show. So this was my lanyard, and we're just going to talk about it briefly because there were some things that I really, really liked. So before we left, I stamped out my Instagram QR code stamp that I use on cards onto a piece of Shrinky Dink plastic, shrunk it down, actually, I stamped it. It's important that you use archival ink, otherwise it doesn't dry. So I stamped it with archival ink, shrunk it down, and put it on my lanyard. And coated the back with a mixture of UV resin and pearl powder, which in turn meant that I didn't have to keep pulling out my phone every time somebody wanted to know what my Instagram was. It was great. It was one of the best things I did. Did I remember I did it? No, it was on my lanyard until Saturday before I remembered that it was on my lanyard, but it was great. The next thing was on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Kari offered to add my handle to my bottom of my lanyard which made it far easier for people on the show floor to recognize who you were, because most people who know you from the internet only know you by your username. She had done the same to her lanyard, I did the same to mine, and there were a couple other people that did that. My hands were really shaky by Thursday. It had been a long travel day. I'd been up for like 15 hours by the time we were sitting down to dinner and doing it, and so she did it. It looks great. It's awesome. The next thing was the Rickshaw pen case, which for most of the weekend was empty, other than when I'd purchase a new pen and I'd just like slide it in there instead of putting it in my pocket. The funniest thing of the pen show was that most of the time when I needed a pen, I didn't actually have one on me, even though I was at a fountain pen show. It was lovely. I was not thriving the entire time, but we made it through and it was great. I really liked this whole setup. It worked quite well. Would most people need their Instagram on their lanyards? No. But for me, it worked, and it just made my life a bit easier. I did also wish that I had my YouTube as a QR code. I just haven't figured out how to do that yet, because a lot of people would then ask what my YouTube was, especially when I was streaming on Friday. And I had just kept having to pull out my phone and give them my username, whereas it would have been nice to have the same QR code thing. So for the future, I need to figure that out. All right, and then we have my first purchase of the show, which was 2 pens that I'm going to harvest the nibs off of, because as stunning as they are, their levers are broken. And I bought them solely after looking at the nibs and realizing that I really, really liked the nibs. Actually, we're gonna move you down a little bit. At this point, you don't need as wide zoomed out of a thing anymore. There we go. And for these pens, they're in great shape. Normally when I see these pens, they're gross and they've been dipped, which is why they've got ink on them. I dipped them at the show. And both of them are gold nibs. One's a gold Waterman, one's a gold Parker. Oh, sorry, one's a gold Weaver, one's a gold Parker. And I know that I love this era of nibs, and they were pretty cheap. I think they were $10 a pen. And I had seen somebody else that had harvested nibs from pens like these. And I know that they fit in some modern pens. If the sacks and levers weren't broken, I would be filling them, but they're clearly broken. And so for now, I'm just going to use them as very fancy dip pens for projects on my desk. But at some point, I will be harvesting the nibs off of them and putting them into different pens. So I'm not going to do writing samples of them, just because they are they really need to be cleaned first. But I will be doing writing samples of them at some point, just not right now. They're quite pretty though. I'm sad that they're as damaged as they are, or their filling mechanisms are as damaged as they are, because like the bodies aren't scratched. Like they're in really good shape. When I see them at local auctions, they're not in this good shape, and so it's quite sad that they're as damaged as they are. I haven't actually cleaned my actual pens, so we're not pulling those out. That's how sick I've been. Let's go to our purchase list. Atlas, order 1, which was actually order 4, was... Actually, let's start with the first thing I bought at the show. I bought Sailor Gentle ink and a Galen leather pen sleeve. Somebody was selling bottles of ink that they were not using anymore, and I bought one because I wanted to, and because I know that I really like the Sailor inks, and this wasn't an ink that I'd heard of before. Turns out It's been like discontinued out of this size. It's been rebranded. And so I bought it and I quite like it. It's a very red. It's not normally my thing, but I do like it in this case. And it's great. Do I know who I bought them from? No, I bought them on Thursday and it was the trading day. And so I just like picked them up from somebody who was probably sitting at a table that wasn't theirs, because it's sort of a free-for-all that day. So what do I need? I need this. So we're going to do the swabs in this video, and then I'll do the proper swatches, dip swatches for Instagram later. But I did last night go through and figure out what all these colors were, because some of them are quite hard to figure out. And I didn't actually figure out, did I figure out all of them? I think I figured out all of them. So it's also got one of like the old Sailor like file things already in it. I'm not sure how I feel about them. They seem to be pretty divisive. Some people love them, some people hate them. And the first ink of the video. Oh, lovely. We're lifting the ink that I dumped on my desk months ago. We are, how do I actually do these swatches? Oh, I just write their names. Fireplace Hearth, which is a very interesting name for an ink, but I would say it's pretty fitting. Like it feels correct for this ink. It is very hot pink on my fingers compared to how it looks here, so I'm interested to see if it dries down more pink. Than it is right now. Yeah, it's hot pink on my hand. So the first pen sleeve of the show was a Galen leather sleeve, which I've wanted for a bit. This is not the one. I wanted one of the Quaco zip sleeves, but I couldn't actually get one of those at the show. Let's grab all the many inks from Atlas. So The other, before we get to Atlas, these were the show freebies. It was notebooks and a Colorverse mini ink in antimatter. I got, because Dad was there with me, I got 2 notebooks and 2 inks. I gifted one of the inks to a friend who met me at the show because I had just bought in a set that also had the ink. So we're going to swatch out this mini ink and then we'll get into Atlas because I got a lot from Atlas. Unsurprisingly. I would say that most of my show purchases were Atlas. And I had expected that, partially because I had affiliate credit, so thank you to anyone who shops using an affiliate link, and partially because they were running a fairly good show special, and so it just was easy to shop there. This is Antimatter, which totally fits my gray vibe, and was an ink that I'd already been looking at, so it was funny that it was the show sample ink that they gave to everyone. And as grays go, it's quite a fun ink. Like, as you can see, it's like purple and green and weird, and I sort of love it. So there's Antimatter. And I've also got it in a 15 mil. We're not going to swatch the 15 mil because I've just swatched the 5 mil. So Hearth Antimatter. Are we on to Sure. So from Atlas, we have Sailor Mano, Traveler's Watercolor, Atlas Swatch Cards, Sailor Blue Black, what are you? You are Dominant Industries Evening, Sailor Mano Sakura, Diplomat Orchid, just wait, Vinta Mascara, Plated Gold Tresses. Yes, I finally got another bottle of it. What am I missing from them? Oh, yeah. TWSBI Stub, Cola Ring Dippers, and a special edition rickshaw. I also got a Quaco converter. That seems to have gone rogue somewhere in between Chicago and here. That being said, if the only thing I misplaced was a Quaco converter, I'm okay with that. They're easy to get a new one, and honestly, I would rather have to replace a Quaco converter than something more expensive. So, yeah. Atlas. I spent money, but the first 4 purchases at Atlas were affiliate credit, and the next 3 for show specials. So it isn't nearly as bad as it looks. And some of it, like the cola ring dippers, really I only needed one, but they've been hard to get for a little bit, and so I got two. And the Atlas swatch cards, I wasn't going to get, but then I saw them in person at the show and decided I actually did really like them, and I think they'll be fun to use for videos. They're less practical than what I use for swatching day to day, but I think they'll work well in video content. Yeah, so let's get into swatching these inks. I'm not going to swatch Plated Gold Tresses. I have it. It's great ink. I just wanted another bottle of it because I really like it. I'm also not going to open these or these. The cola ring dippers are pretty standard. I use them for all my video swatches over on Instagram and shorts, but I also use them when I'm shopping. Like I was carrying these around at the show floor so that when I was looking at an ink color, I had swatches on hand of everything I had in my collection. And the Traveler's watercolor paper, I'm not going to open purely because I don't need it right now. My Traveler's is stuffed still with show stuff. Like I haven't been through it yet. It's got 4 notebooks and an insert shoved in it right now. And yeah, so we're going to leave the watercolor paper for now because I just don't need it. As I dump everything back in my bag of chaos. So let's start with this. This was a special edition rickshaw. Do I remember who it was created for? No. Atlas had them though. Yeah. And I was given one, and it's great, and I love it, and it's nice and tiny, and I love the design, and it makes me really happy. So my number of single pen cases really increased this show because I still have more. I went from 1 rickshaw to 3 and got a couple other leather sleeves from Small Makers purely because I like single pen sleeves. I use them quite a lot, and I just wanted to add some more to my collection. And then I finally caved and got a TWSBI. This was actually my second to last purchase of the show. For a while, it was my last purchase of the show. But I did end up getting the show ink, which I said I wasn't going to get because it was a blue. But I did end up getting it. I got it in a sapphire broad, and we will go through all my pens once I've finished with inks because I did get a couple other pens, and I just want to swatch them all at the end. Ink-wise, 3 Sailor, and then the rest are new brands to the collection. The Sailors I bought all ahead of time. I knew I was getting them. I'd been looking at them for a bit, and I had wanted all 3, and I used affiliate credit for all of them. So thank you for using my affiliate links. If you use them, they do really help. And so let's start with Sakura. I haven't swatched these 2 at all. I did at the show do like quick, like Q-tip swatches into my swatch book just so I had an idea of the stuff that I'd purchased, what it looked like. These 2 though, I didn't because there was no way to open them without like actually opening them. That sounds weird. This box is stickered. This entire ink bottle is wrapped in Saran wrap. And so I didn't want to open them at the show, even though I'd purchased them, because I knew I was going to be doing a video on them. So, Sailor Mano Sakura. I love this ink. I've seen a whole bunch of people use it. People rave over these inks, and they're hard to get here, I find. Wonder Pen stocks some of them. not all of them, and oftentimes Sailor inks are out of stock at Wonder Pens, just because of supply and demand. And so when I knew I was going to Chicago, I did make my first Atlas order, and luckily they had a pick up at the show option, and so I did that a few times. Oh, that's stunning. Ha! Oh, look at that. I can't wait to use that in an art piece. That's so much fun. Oh, it's so much fun. The camera's not picking up just how like hot pink it is in sections. And I'm sorry about that because it is spectacular. It's just so much fun. And then we have, let's do this one. I don't know how to pronounce this one. I'm not even going to try. This is the other Sailor Mano ink. I do love the Sailor lids. I find them really easy to do and undo, and I appreciate that. Okay. I don't know if I like this one as much as the other one, which is surprising. I thought I was going to love this one. But I don't know that I love it as much as Sakura. Interesting. All right. Let's just slip those there as they dry. Let's do Vinta next, because it is similar to that Sailor, but according to people I talked to at the show, it was different enough that I could justify both. And really, that was all I needed to hear. I think it was Deb that convinced me they were different enough. And that interview hasn't come out yet, but is an absolute hoot to watch. It still makes me laugh watching it again. It's just so much fun. We had such a great time filming it. So this is mascara. And it is their duo shader thing. Oh, I like how well it's sealed. Honestly, other brands take note. Oh, they are very different. They are super different. Oh, wow. I would almost say that neither has filled. So my hope was that I'd find like a nice lilac ink. And I would say that like neither has filled that like lilac desire. So here's, this definitely isn't a lilac. Here's Sakura close up, which I think is absolutely stunning. It's got that really like hot pink and yellow and orange. It's great. I think it's gonna look really cool in an art piece. Here are these two. So I was hoping for a like lilac ink. I would say that neither of these, the camera's not even picking it up. Yeah, it's not picking it up. This one is very pink. This one is very blue. They're very pretty colors. Neither is giving the lilac vibes I was hoping for. So we've got one more option, and that is Dominant Industries 117, which is Evening, which may be discontinued. It was in Last Chance at Atlas, which tends to mean things are being discontinued, at least from Atlas. So let's see if you are going to be my like lavender vibes that I desperately want in an ink. There we go. We'll say that was annoying to get into. No points there on getting into the actual box. And I think their lids are going to be hard for me to open. Oh, it's really cute. Oh, and it comes with a pipette. Okay. This is really cute. I don't know that it needs a little drawstring bag and everything, but I don't hate it. Dominant Industries Standard Evening. All right. All right, let's break into this. Oh, I did it. Okay. Their bottle is adorable. Will this be the purple vibes that I want? My guess is no, but maybe. Oh, it looks pretty purple. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe. So now I'm glad I got all three. I thought it was a bit ridiculous. Like, I bought the Dominant Industries one because it ended up in Last Chance. And I'd been debating between Mascara and Evening, and my decision was just made by what ended up in Last Chance. And then I wasn't sure at the show, and somebody had both. Actually, somebody had all three and went, no, you can like justify having all three. And I would definitely say like all three are very different. As inks go, I would agree that all three are very different. So let's package this away, because we still have to do Instagram unboxings on all of these. So I would say that Evening's my favorite, which is hilarious because it's the one that I only bought because it ended up in Last Chance. Let's do Diplomat, Orchid. Again, wanted a hot pink color, ended up picking this one because it ended up in Last Chance, which is like not how I'd recommend picking colors as a rule of thumb. Like pick inks that you actually like. I just am a fan of trying out different brands, and it was a color that I wanted, and so I was fine with taking the gamble of trying something in Last Chance, not knowing if I liked the brand or not. Also, I find that it's fairly easy to trade and sell inks in the Canadian fountain pen groups. There seems to be a pretty large turnover of people like trying out new inks and wanting to get rid of stuff in their collection. So I felt like even if I hated it, I could probably get rid of it. This is Orchid. I will say the one thing I couldn't find at the show was the Colo Ring Rolodex card separators. I looked for them a bunch, so I'm going to have to see if I can get them at one of my local shops, because those are something that I do want for my Rolodex, even though I don't use her cards in my Rolodex. I just need a better separation system than what I've got. So there's Orchid, and then we have Sailor Blue Black. I really wanted a blue black because I like colors like it, and I knew that I really liked the Sailor inks. I think I've sort of become like a Sailor matte ink person. They're just like standard and good and work well and not fussy, and so I quite like them. So I settled on their blue black. I did think about who else's did I have in my cart. I had Lammy's in my cart. I had a couple People's, but I liked the Sailor one. And so I will say that it stains a bit, which I expected. But I like sort of how light it can be. And I think, again, it'll be fun in a pen, but it'll also be fun in art pieces, which is sometimes the best part about inks. They also always come with stickers for your pens, for your converters. I will say the only one that I have the sticker on for my Sailor inks is my waterproof ink pen, and that's just to remind me what's actually in it. So then we have this absolute gem of ink, which is the Pelikan highlighter ink. I was not going to get it, and then I ended up going back for it for one specific reason, and it is because it glows under black light. And I mean glows under black light. Like, this thing fluoresces like nothing I've ever seen. It's great. I looked at it in the bottle and I went, this thing has to glow. There's no way that this does not glow under black light. And it does. It's so vivid. Actually, it's great. So I bought a bottle. I bought the last bottle actually at the show. And do I need it? No. Does it make me happy? Yes. Will I use it for anything other than art pieces? No. Because it's, you know, a fluorescent highlighter ink, and it sort of makes my eyes hurt to look at it. But it's fun, and I think sometimes like $10 for 30 mils of fun is worth it. So this is Like, it's just so bright. I sort of hope they come out with it in other colors. I would really enjoy like a highlighter pink ink, but for now, like, it's so bright. It's so much fun. I think it would be really cool if you were doing like a laser tag spread thing, or like, yeah, it's great. It's fun. It's also like sort of stupid, and I love it, and it's great. We're gonna save the Andrellium ink because I know I'm gonna make a mess with it. We have my purchase from Smarty Pens, which I'd actually been debating since before the show. Let's get rid of whatever's dry. Let's scooch these up. We need antimatter, actually. I'd been debating this since before the show. I had seen that they were putting them on sale, and I had been looking at it. And I debated this until, I want to say, Saturday afternoon. Like, I debated this until the last minute they had their booth set up before I actually decided I was going to get it. And I'm very happy I got it, because I really actually like writing with gray inks. So, let's break into this. We're not going to swatch antimatter. I've already got it swatched. We are going to swatch matter. If I can actually get into this box set. There. So, Colorverse. Do not use for purposes other than writing. Well, it's going to be used for art pieces as well. Do not eat. Removing ink from textiles is difficult. Ink may drip. Don't know what that is. It is stunning packaging that I cannot get into. There we go. So our tiny little bottle of antimatter, which we've already swatched. Here is matter, which is a 65 ml bottle. Oh, they like even give the pH. That's sweet. So the pH of antimatter is 7.1. The pH of matter is 8.3. Interesting. Don't know what this is. Oh, it's a pen stand. What else is in here? Your bookmark and your stickers. And you just feel like you're a napkin. All right, you're all going back in here for now. And we're gonna swatch this matter ink. Sorry, I had to cough. Matter. So I haven't swatched this ink, and there were no swatches of it at the show, so the only swatches I've seen are the swatches of it online, which is not how I like to buy inks, but I have been looking at swatches of it online for like months, and I knew I really wanted it. And I could get a 5 ml bottle for $7, or I could get this entire box set for $28. And so really, this is the set that made sense. So there's Madder. There's Antimatter. Two very different grays. Also very different than Mont Blanc gray. There's Mont Blanc Cool Gray. All very different grays, which I think is great because I actually use gray ink. Again, they don't actually look super different on this table for whatever reason today, but they are very different grays. As we pop this box set back together. Do I have any other inks, or is it just the Andurelium ink left? Oh, it's just the Andurelium ink left. All right, I'm gonna make a mess. It's gonna be fine. So I will say that I hate the Andurelium ink bottles. I cannot get into them without making a mess, and I really dislike that in a product. But I kept going back and forth on the show ink, and eventually on our way out the door, like literally, Dad had gone to get the car, and I was sitting in the lobby with my crutches and the luggage cart. I decided that maybe I did want the show ink, and maybe I'd regret not getting it. And so I got it. I hate their bottles. I cannot get into them without making a mess. I heard this from other people too. I have only just gotten the blue out from under my nails from the test bottle at the show. And I tested that on the Friday of the show. So that was like 10 days of it being under my nails, just staining my hand. So I'm prepared that this is going to be an absolute disaster. That being said, it is a pretty blue. It's just like a mess to get into. Oh, this one didn't make as big of a mess. They're just like stunning colors, but not easy to get into. Here we go. So this is Diversity Harbor Blue. It is a very pretty blue. It looks less ballpoint pen blue than it looked in the initial swatches online. I will also say it's really hard to figure out, like, if you've got the lid on all the way. I just don't love the Andurelium bottles, but I think I would have regretted not getting the show ink. So I did get it. Pen-wise, actually let's finish up. These were on the ink testing table. I did not take one until late Sunday afternoon when there was still a whole bunch of them left, and they were sort of free game to take at that point. Because I have not tried the Regalia paper. It gets really mixed reviews, and so I wanted to be able to try it and like actually try it. And seeing as they were at that point free game for people to take, I took one. And so we're gonna play around with it in videos and stuff. What else is in this magical bag? Oh, sure. This was the lanyard that came with my rickshaw pen sleeve, the show one. I did not actually put my rickshaw pen sleeve on it because my rickshaw went on my lanyard, but it was great that they actually came with one. I got 2 more handmade leather sleeves, one for a sport and one in natural leather. Of course, I can't tell you who they were by because it's on the part of the floor map where there aren't actually labeled tables. So sorry. They started with an A, and it's really frustrating because I can't figure out who they are according to the show map of the floor, but they're really nice. I really like the natural leather one, and I'm excited to see how it ages. And then I had to track down silicone grease. And the reason why will become apparent momentarily, because I made a purchase of something that is utterly ridiculous and brings me great joy. And you've probably seen it on Instagram. You've probably seen it on many people's Instagram, because a whole bunch of people got them on the show. Kari, I think, got 3 of them. I only got 1. By the time I found them, she only had 2 colors left. It is a ridiculously tiny fountain pen that has to be eyedroppered. And so I needed silicone grease so that I could eyedropper this ridiculously tiny fountain pen. It's great. I love it. I ended up enabling quips for the sarcastic into one as well. But they're actually comfortable, and they're sort of stupidly ridiculous. And somebody in their 20 questions had a really good thing about, or observation about, eyedroppered pens. And of course I can't remember whose it was now, but it really made me laugh. And it also came with this little syringe that also has, or a little pipette that also has milliliters on it, which is great. So I had to track down silicone grease for this stupidly tiny pen, for no reason other than the fact that I really liked the pen and didn't want to come home and have to track down silicone grease. So I got silicone grease at the show from the Inky Nibs. Then I got the pen that I went to the show looking for. So if you've been on Instagram the last little bit, you'll know that I have been on the hunt for one very specific pen for no reason other than the fact that I really like them and they bring me great joy. I wanted a lavender Kaweco Sport. That's all I wanted. It was the only pen I wanted at the show, and I found one. Lemur Inks had them only in broad and double broad, which was totally okay because I am a fan of double broad. I ended up getting this one in a broad, and it's quite a smooth broad because I didn't yet have a broad from Kaweco, so I got it in a broad. I also got a classic green from Kaweco from Lemur in a medium. So 2 new Kawecos. Yeah. And then somewhere on the show floor, I tracked this Kaweco down. And I honestly can't remember where. And it's the highlighter one. But I honestly can't remember where I found it. It might have been on the trading day that I actually ended up tracking it down, but I can't remember. And it didn't appear in any of my haul posts, so I can't remember what day I found it. But it's great, and I love it. And it's got a stub nib. No, it doesn't. It's got something weird, doesn't it? It's got a 1.9 chisel nib. But it's super cute, and it's great, and it's fabulous. So I ended up getting 3 Kawecos at the show, and I love them all. So we are going to swatch all of these new pens. And the TWSBI. Let's not forget about the TWSBI. So the TWSBI is the Sapphire. Yes. Okay. What are we going to start with? We are going to start with the... I'm going to dip these all in. Normally I dip these all in... What do I swatch my nibs in? That's a great question. I swatch them in something that I don't have sitting next to me. All right. I have to go grab a bottle of ink. Because of course, I have many bottles of ink next to me and not the one I want. So for nib swatches, I use the Ferris Wheel Press ink that is the wrong shade of blue. And it's great. It's just what I use for swatching nibs. So, here we go. What are we going to start with? We are going to start with the ridiculous mini thing. Because I want to, honestly. Honestly, this channel is a dictatorship run by me. It's been a while since I've used that saying. So this is a bottle of Ferris Wheel Press Storied Blue from the batch where things were the wrong color. So I have both a wrong bottle and a right bottle of Storied Blue. This is the wrong bottle. Just for. So what is this? How do I do these? This is a... There we go. What's next? Let's do the Kaweco Sport in medium, which is this green one. So I drop things off my desk. And just drop things in general, apparently. Maybe this wasn't from Lemur. Honestly, I sort of lost track of who I was buying things from. But it's a very nice pen. It writes nicely. And honestly, with Kawecos, that's sort of all you can hope for. Because sometimes they're not as nice writers. I don't know why. camera's being so weird today. I apologize for that. So it's super annoying that everything's all pixely. Then we have the Quaco Sport in Broad, which was the only pen I went to the show for. It's the only pen I wanted. It was the 2021 special edition. So I now have the 2021 special edition and the 2022 special edition. I don't have the 2023 or 2024. I don't really like either of them. What's this? This is Broad. Yeah, I'm not a fan of either of the pearl ones. They're just not my thing. I think this is written as a broad, but it's actually a double broad. Yeah, Broad Nib Burgundy Sport is actually a double broad Burgundy Sport. So these pens have not been touched since the Sunday of the pen show. So it's been over a week. Let's see how they rate. I screwed that up. Okay, what's left? Let's dump that down there. The highlighter one. So that, I would say there's almost no difference between a broad and a double broad Quaco Sport, honestly. Doesn't actually look like that much of a difference. And because I can, I'm going to dip this highlighter ink into the Pelikan highlighter ink. Am I? No. Yes. No. I want to, but I don't know that it'll give me a good, like, example of what the nib is actually like. So no. This pen is clearly not for writing with. Or maybe it just needs way more ink. Yeah, there we go. I would say not a pen that's meant to write with. Utterly ridiculous, but hopefully actually useful for highlighting. I was hoping it would be good for line work, but I don't think it's actually going to be good for line work. I think it's just too specialized. What do we have left? Oh, the TWSBI. So I was against TWSBIs for a long time. But they kept coming up as a pen in 20 questions. Everyone really likes their ecos. And so I decided that I was actually going to get one at the show. Yeah, I actually got one. So we're going to look at it. I haven't opened it. I got it in a broad. I've been leaning towards broads lately for pens that I like. I'm not sure if I'm going to like them or not, mostly because it's a size that I know I can put shimmers in, especially in a TWSBI. I know they can handle their shimmers, and so I figured a TWSBI in a broad would mean that I could put shimmers and stuff in it, and it would be fine. So I got it in a size where even if I didn't like the pen, I could still use it for shimmer inks. So here we go. I'm glad we're almost done. I'm starting to cough more. All right, so do not use alcohol on it. All right. And it's a piston filler. Comes with the silicone grease and a wrench. I got it in the dark sapphire. Really, I went, Brendan, what colors do you still have in a broad? And it was the least offensive color that they still had left in a broad. Is it the color I would have picked? No. But, or would it be my first choice of color? No. But I was more picky about my nib size than the actual color of the pen. So this is the last pen of this video. And then that is everything I got at the Chicago Pen Show. Oh, minus the insert that's currently in my Travelers, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is a broad. Oh, it goes through a lot of ink. I just spelled sapphire wrong. TW TWSBI. I actually shockingly like that. That's disappointing. I was ready to hate the Eco. Well, there we go. There's everything I got at the Chicago Pen Show this year. Oh, other than the one thing that I just said, which now I've lost my traveler's notebook in this chaos surrounding my desk. Oh, here it is. I got a insert. I wanted the like zip up insert. No one had it. So what I got was the like file insert, which I actually used at the show multiple times, from Notageist. Oh, and this tiny thing is from Penrealm. They still have them on their website in a bunch of colors. Yeah, there we go. There's my Chicago Pen Show 2024 haul. There will be more in-depth videos on other stuff when I feel significantly better. But honestly, I've wanted to open this stuff for a couple days, and I've just been waiting to be able to talk without hacking as soon as I say a single word. Also, there will be a video going through all the swatches because somebody asked. And so yes, I will do a video where I go through all of the swatches that I did in the swatch videos. Because I also swatched any of the inks that booths had on demo. So there's some fun stuff that you might not have seen yet. So. I hope you had a good time watching this. Let me know what your favorite ink I picked up was. I have to say, I think it was, I don't know if it was the Sakura or the Dominant Industries for me. Both are super fun, and I'm really happy with the pens I picked up. So, thanks for watching.